Alright, this is video number 25 of this 40-foot landing craft build. Got this phone sitting on my welder looking at this front door. Finally finished this landing craft door. I got two remotes in my hands, about 12-foot leads on each one. I put two Harbor Freight winches on this front door, this landing craft door. Each one of those winches is 5,000 pound capacity, so basically 10,000 pounds. I don't know if I'll ever have anything that heavy. I've talked in my other videos about, I want to use this door, this landing craft door, to pull my 18-foot boat up on this 40-footer. So I wanted to have a couple pretty strong winches. I don't know how these Harbor Freight winches last. If anyone out there has had any luck with these things, let me know. Drop a comment down. I see lots of reviews, but they're just basically kind of an unboxing kind of a review, and nothing on, how long these things last. I mean, Harbor Freight stuff, it is what it is. So before this phone falls over, let's do this. I'm going to hit both these remotes at the same time, because that's how I've rigged this up. There's one on the right-hand side in that box. There's one on the left-hand side in that box. And so you push these controls at the same time. So here we go. It's pretty fast. I've brought it up and down about, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. Not too many times. One thing about these Harbor Freight winches is they only have a 5% duty cycle, which means at full capacity, at full load, you run this winch for 45 seconds. You got to wait 15 minutes. And so that's why I'm curious if anybody's had these things on their ATVs, or how long these things last. So here we go. Let's pull this thing up. And that's about it, man. It's pretty quick, and pretty impressed with it, all in all. The other way to do it is just to put one winch on one side and have rollers down there, and the cable would go underneath and back up to just a dead leg over here. It would just be fastened and it wouldn't move, and so the rollers would turn and you would just have one winch pulling it up. Well, I didn't want to design it that way. I started to design it that way, and it just didn't care for it. I really like this a lot better. After all the crap is taken off of these box tops, the only thing sitting here is this and this that I made. Those are little Shiv wheels that I bought. They're rated for 2,000 pounds. So a really clean setup. I got the winch is down under here. Each one's on this side and one's on the other side, but there's the wiring. It is what is it. It's tucked up out of the way, which I kind of like, and I welded those little pieces of 1x2 rectangle tubing up there to kind of run it through, and so that is what it is. I'm hoping these things last a long time. Like I said, I want to be able to nose my 18-foot boat on that when that thing's down in the water, and have a post back here on the floor that the bow of the 18-footer you'd connect it to the eyelet on the bow of the boat, and as that door comes up, this post would rotate towards me, and so the boat would be sitting on top of that landing craft door, and it'd be about 3.5, 4 feet off the deck here. And you could still walk down both sides, because that 18-foot boat that I'm about to build is only going to have about a 7-foot beam, and we're about 8 feet between these boxes. So, like I said, I got the other one. It's tucked up in that side, and I had originally cut some holes right there because that's where you can turn the winch to freewheel. It just wasn't thinking, I did this one over here behind me, and I did that one, and ended up actually doing that one a couple times because I kept getting it off. I just didn't have anybody to hold the winch for me and get a good look at where I needed the hole. And turns out you don't need the damn holes. You can reach in there, and there's like an inch or so space right there. You could just reach in there with your hand and turn that thing. I just wasn't thinking. So I welded both of them back on, and you can't even really tell other than the buffing marks from the sandpaper grinder disc. So I got another winch right here that I've talked in the past about. I got a crane that I'm going to make. It's like a truck crane that goes right here. You know, like they sell them at Northern Tool and stuff. Some of those are rated for 2,000 pounds. That winch is a 2,000 pound Harbor Freight winch also. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put it on the inside or the outside. Either way, where I drilled those holes, it would work on the inside or the outside. I'm kind of thinking leave it on the outside. Just because I don't want to get too much of a cluster going on the inside. But here's more of those wheels, and you know, one of them will be up here, and let's see, it's that crane will be vertical, and then it'll be kicked at a 45. So there'll be two of those, and it's gonna be able to swing 360 degrees, and I'm going to show you something in a minute on how I'm going to make that happen. But let me turn around and back up here. I got I did the door on the front of the boat, and I just drew all the windows. I've had these windows for a couple weeks, and I haven't cut them out, but I just drew these windows. So it's going to be a window there, a nice big window. It's like 36 by 24. And then I drew this on the inside of the door. That's a 24 by 24 there, and then another one down there that's 12 by 24. So my dog, he can look outside, you know, when he's in the boat and stuff. This door is 3/16 thick metal, and it has an aluminum frame. And let me kick this block out of the way. And it has this aluminum frame on the whole thing, and it kind of wants to spring open. I'm just going to let it kind of spring open there for a minute. But obviously, when you start welding on something like that, it's like I always say, I mean, nothing there is welded 100%. It's I'm going to use some stainless steel screws, and I have those tacks those are pretty heavy tacks. They're about 4 inches apart, but I did not want this door to warp out on me, so the other window right there. So let's look at this framing again. This is what I did. I just had one little notch. I had to notch it right there where that half round is. And I didn't have any flat bar, so I had to cut all this stuff. I cut this stuff it's an inch and a half, and I have one cross member right there, and basically just framed it, put one cross member there, and then, you know, there's one just above that top window, and I may put another one right off of the lock. I got a lock coming that's a chrome lock that you use like on an RV. It's flat, you know, it doesn't stick out like a regular doorknob like on a house. It's recessed in there, and it's really cool. It's the way to do it. You know, on a boat, you don't want a doorknob sticking out, and it has a deadbolt built into it. And some of those things run about 70 bucks, but I found a website where it's like 35 bucks. But you know, it's not it'll definitely, you know, after a few years need to be replaced around the salt water, put it that way. So basically there's where the door lock's going to go. And this framing, I tacked it on the inside and the outside, and that's really all I'm going to do. You know, I mean, it doesn't need to be overkill, and if you want to try and weld that thing up all the way, you're just gonna have problems with it warping out on you. The only way to really do that would have been to maybe put it in a jig and secure it until you were done welding it. And even then, when you popped it loose, you never know what's going to happen. You know, it still could warp out on you a little bit, but that's plenty strong enough. I'm going to do, like I said, a combination of some more screws, and between the screws and these big heavy tacks, like I got right now, I just got a sheet metal screw in there. I'm going to replace those with some stainless steel screws. I just got to get some shorter ones, and that's going to be plenty. I mean, shit, it's bulletproof enough. I mean, it opens to the outside anyway. So let's go in here for a second. I wanted to mention a long time ago, about 6 videos ago or so, I was talking about this plywood missing this bulkhead right here. Well, I ended up, when I laid the plywood down, I just shifted it forward, and so you never know how things are going to work out. I was complaining in that video when I was doing the floor framing that if I butted it up to the transom, it was going to fall short right there where there's a bulkhead, and it was going to miss that bulkhead too. Well, by shifting it forwards, it worked out perfect. It landed right on that bulkhead and right on that bulkhead, and I didn't have to put extra floor material in there. So sometimes, you know, you just never know. You try and think about everything that you can, and then some things work out really good, and it's like, wow, I wasn't even thinking about that, and it worked out so good. But that's just how it goes when you fabricate stuff. And I went ahead and put this chimney in and finished it. Got a real nice fit on it. Pretty happy with it. And so yeah, I'm gonna cut those windows in tomorrow. Probably won't install the windows just yet. I'm just gonna cut them in. And we got a bunch of plumbing right here. Need to tie in. I got the toilet's gonna be on the left over here. Toilet room is going to be about 3 feet wide by about 8 or 9 feet long. I got a bathtub that's going in there, like I keep saying. I got that piece of countertop right there. I got a nice deep sink right there, and on the right with the tarp is the bathtub, and the toilet's right behind that fan there. I'm putting a toilet like you would put in a home in this boat because I've lived in travel trailers for like 10 years now, and I can't stand travel trailer toilets. And that toilet there is a really nice toilet. It's got an elongated seat on it, just awesome. It has 2 push buttons for different gallons per flow, and to save on water. And one thing cool about that toilet that I'm gonna put in, sorry about that, let me swing around again. You can't really see it, but it's in a box right there behind the fan. One thing that's cool about that toilet is, like I say, it's for a home. And those kind of toilets obviously have a built-in P-trap to keep the smell from coming back up. And when you live in an RV and you flush the toilet and your septic tank's pretty full, you're gonna always get that little bit of smell coming up. And I have a 100-gallon septic tank under the floor here, and then a 100-gallon water tank, and then a 100-gallon fuel tank. But just sick of the RV toilets. They're just shit, they're crap, and I just can't wait to sit down on that nice toilet. It's gonna be awesome. And not to mention the tub. And I put the tub in here because when I'm remote, I'll put a big pot of water on there and just, you know, take a bath. You can always get clean if you have like a bathtub, but trying to clean up in a shower with just a bucket of hot water is a drag. So I decided to go ahead and put a tub in here, which I'm super happy with, and I think it's gonna be awesome. But so got the landing craft door done out there. That kind of drug on for a week or so. And this door, this front door here, you know, I did this thing in just one day. I mean, it was really nothing to it. I guess 2 days. I started it yesterday, so cut those holes in there and get some daylight in this boat, and things are going pretty good. I'm still on that tight schedule there. I'm trying to leave by April the 18th. I want to be driving out of here. And I got a place on the ferry already reserved in Bellingham, Washington. There it is. Got some shade on it. But so finally this landing craft door is done. That thing drug on for, a week or so. And anyway, I'm going to get on. There's only a couple welding projects left, honestly. There's that crane that I keep talking about. It's going to be made out of some metal that's over there, some 2x2 metal, and the motor shelf that's on the back of the boat, and then the 18-foot boat. I got to whip out that 18-foot boat, but it's going to be pretty easy because it's going to be, hand tillered motor and pretty simple deal. There'll be no windshield in it, no nothing, a pretty basic little boat. And but yeah, if you got some comments about these winches, man, I'm curious to know how long they last. So drop a comment there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.